Hey folks, it's Tom, your frugal prepper. I thought I would just go over my mobile toolbox loadout and what I carry in my trunk pretty much all the time. I generally like to have things brought back here to my garage or towed here, but once in a while a customer has an emergency or it's a fairly simple job that I can do right on location and get them up and going. So I like to keep a nice selection of tools in my trunk. That way I always have them with me if something happens to my car or I have to go do some side work on site. Alright, so what I carry is this nice little Craftsman 4-drawer toolbox. Keep a couple of magnetic trays here on top, and I also have my light here on top. We'll open it up. We'll start up top here. I have a few clean shop towels, a little cheapy Harbor Freight light in here. You get those for free. I keep a scan tool. Now this one only goes through 2009 for OEM specific stuff, but it'll do global OBDT on anything. It's just something that I got super cheap used off of a mechanic that didn't want it anymore. So I keep that as my mobile scan tool. I keep a few pairs of mechanics rubber gloves. I keep this roll of orange duct tape that always comes in handy. I have a little set of kind of mix and match 1/4-inch drive. All the sizes are here. 1/4-inch drive standard. Because a lot of times I end up working on lawnmowers and stuff for friends, so I need standard stuff occasionally. This is just all my extra like star and hex bits that I have. It's not a complete set, but it's something to have. A lot, this toolbox gets a lot of my kind of older, crappier tools that I don't keep in my regular box anymore. Keep some road flares in the top, because if I have to help somebody out and it's dark and it's on the side of a busy road, I'm throwing out some flares. Keep a little Kershaw knife in here to cut stuff. I've got a longer pry bar here. I have a shorter one down below. This is just one of the cheapy Pittsburgh pry bars. I keep this little bent ratchet. This one actually was from Harbor Freight, but it doesn't even have their name on it. It's just chrome bandium, but it was from Harbor Freight back in the day. It's a little bit kind of loose, but it does work and it gets the job done. I have a fairly complete set of 1/4-inch drive. There's some missing, but like the 14 and 15, I'd like to have those. I have a fairly complete set of 3/8 minus an 8mm. Okay, so this is our first drawer. I'm trying to put everything back where it goes on top here. Trying not to disorganize this too much. So over here on the side I have like tire pressure gauge. I've got a little razor knife. I've got a paint marker and one of these little wax pencils. I got a little multi-tool. I got Mike's 1/4-inch drive ratchet, my 3/8 ratchet, and a bunch of extensions and adapters, that kind of stuff. Some wobbles. I've got this Husky ratchet, which I actually really like. It's a little stubby. It's 3/8 on one side, 1/4 on the other. It's pretty smooth, and it expands to make it a little longer. That's probably one of my first grabs that I go to. I have this set of Torx drivers. It's just something cheap set I had that I threw in here. I've got a tape measure and screwdrivers. I got this pair of shears. I've got a small assortment of different picks. I've got one Craftsman gasket scraper that I keep in here. And I have a chisel. I also keep this knife in here. This is nice when I'm at the junkyard. I'm pulling apart. Just chop that hose. I also have this little 1/4-inch driver doohickey. I don't use that very often. Okay, so the next drawer down, I've got some Harbor Freight epoxy that comes in handy for emergencies. I've got a couple 1/2-inch drive sockets of sizes that I know I need for specific things when I do them. Everything else in here is 3/8 drive only, and I don't have a 1/2-inch ratchet. I just have an adapter to put those on my 3/8 ratchet. I got a couple spark plug sockets, a 5/8 and a 13/16. I don't have a 3/4, but if I need one, I've got a right here. I got a 3/4 socket. I'll just use that. See, I got a little Loctite. I got a little assortment of hose clamps. I've got a C-clamp for squeezing brake calipers. And just a little assortment of pliers. You know, some vice grips, some channel locks, some long needle nose. I got a bent nose and a straight set. A few zip ties. Some mechanics wire. I've got a file down here. Let's see. I've got just a regular pair of pliers, and I've got a set of the Quinn wire cutters from Harbor Freight. Okay, so on the next drawer down, got a little lubricant, penetrating lubricant. You can get these at Dollar Tree, by the way. Little can of penetrating lubricant. It doesn't work bad, and it's a small can. It's handy to keep on you. Got, you know, a couple wire brushes, cleaning off gaskets and that sort of thing. And then just a bunch of different wrenches. I got standard metric. I've got these double box in ratcheting gear wrench things that have like all the sizes built on them, and 2 wrenches. Except for 14, so you can't really use them on a Honda. I've got some flare nut wrenches. I got all the standard size flare nut wrenches in here. I've got a small pry bar in the back. I got some different wire nuts and washers and cotter pins and things over here, a drill bit. These are the battery charging post adapters for hooking up a charger to a side post. And the bottom drawer, I got a hot glue gun in case I need to glue something together. A roll of good Super 33 Scotch electric tape. These come with those brake pad kits. I have a bunch of them from just the brake grease. Keep a tube of that in here. We got a bungee cord, tire plugs, a bag of metric bolts. Actually, I think there's a few standard ones in there too. Some super glue. And then here I got a cheapy test light, some terminal ends, some butt connectors, some fuses, some bulbs, some T-pins, some cotter pins, a valve stem tool. I just did a tire repair video and I had one of these in here the whole freaking time. I bought another one. But yeah, the butt connectors, I like to seal those up with liquid electric tape, which I don't have in here, but this is more of a emergency on the side of the road, get them going kind of thing. It's not necessarily a make a perfect electric connection on the side of I-70 while cars are whizzing by. I have tire plug tools. I keep just a real basic hammer. Some dude gave this to me over at my oldest son's apartment. Like, it's kind of a story. Like, there's this like big black dude, like muscle black dude, just staring me down. We're moving some furniture, And he keeps looking at me, and I'm like, man, what the heck's going on? And like, man, that guy decides to kick my ass. I don't think I win, you know? And then I look over and I see him walking towards me with a big old frown on his face with a hammer in his hand. I'm like, oh crap. And he gets about, I don't know, 20 feet from me. I'm like, hey, can I help you? And he's like, oh, I just want to see if you want a hammer. I had an extra one. And he turns around and like holds the handle out. And I'm like, oh yeah, thanks. So, you know, that's one of those things that you could easily misinterpret. This is just a extension, like I can lock on the end of a wrench. Not like too much weight sitting forward on this guy, but I can throw that on a wrench for some leverage. It works better on the bigger wrenches. Let's see, I keep a multimeter in here. I keep, I guess, a little piece of wire loom. I keep some emergency pieces of wire to make connections with, and just some alligator jumper clips. That should get me through some basic electrical diagnosis between that and my scan tool. That Actron scan tool, while it's not bi-directional or anything, it will do an all-module scan on most cars. And you can see transmission codes and stuff with it too, which is kind of nice. Alright, so that's what's in Frugal Prepper's toolbox that he keeps in his trunk. Just let me know what you think. If you have any ideas, I'd be interested to hear them. And hear like what kind of stuff you guys keep in your toolboxes. I'll talk to y'all later. This is Tom, your Frugal Prepper.